Your options for going out at UF are gonna be Midtown, downtown, sports clubs, and frats. So I'll start with Midtown. First on the list, we have MacDinton's, which is probably the only bar that you can get into if you're below the age of 21. And even so, it's largely known for having older people. Like most of my friends that go there are juniors. It's got 2 floors and there's a bunch of TVs. Cover usually tends to be around 10, 20 bucks, depending on the day, but you can usually get tickets online to skip the line. Next on the list for Midtown bars is going to be JJ's, which is also a 21 plus bar, and it's on the upper floor of Midtown. It has a back bar, so it's one of the larger bars. Cover to get in is usually free to $5 if you get in there at like 8 or 9, but it can go up to like 15, 20 depending on the night. The music is usually going to be like popular music or rap music. Next on the list, we have Balls, which is known for also having more older students. Like I said, JJ's is probably the only freshman bar in Midtown. Cover is usually free unless it's like really packed. And in terms of size, it's a relatively small bar. Next on the list, you're gonna have the Rowdy Reptile, or I think it's called Rowdy Rudy's now. It's right next to JJ's in the corner of Midtown. It's also just got 1 floor, but it has like a little basketball game you can play on it. I'd say the ages of students there are gonna be like sophomores to juniors. Cover is sometimes free depending on how early you go. The music, I've heard country music. They do play some pop music and rap depending on how the night's going, but you do need to be 21 to get in. Right under Rowdy Rudy's or Rowdy Reptiles is gonna be Frats. That's another one that's also 21 plus. Cover to get in can be like $10 to $15 depending on the night, depending on how late it is in the night. There's only 1 floor. It's the same exact size as Rowdy Rudy's, but the music there is usually like EDM. They have a whole bunch of lights. It's definitely more like it's more like a club than a bar, I'd say. Another spot in Midtown Gainesville is called Cantina. During the day, it's actually open to everyone as a restaurant, but in the night it becomes a 21 plus bar. It's like half outside, half inside. In terms of size, it's about the same size as JJ's. It definitely has a lot of Hispanic music. I mean, it's called Cantina. There's also one other little bar in Midtown Gainesville. It used to be called The Grog and it was 18 plus, but I'm pretty sure it's 21 up now. I'm not sure about the size or the music. I'll actually just edit that in later. Downtown also has a few big options for clubs. First of all, it's probably gonna be Simon's, which is popular because you don't have to be 21 to get into it. It's like a pretty big nightclub. Cover can be up to 20 to 25 bucks depending on the night. Sometimes you can order tickets online and it's cheaper. I personally don't like it too much, but they do have Latin night. It does get really crowded in there. They also have 2 bars, and like I said, it's quite large. There's like 2 separate sections. It's probably your best bet if you don't have a fake ID and you're a freshman or sophomore. Another option for going out in downtown is going to be UC, which is known as the gay club. You can get in if you're 18, but I think it's definitely more expensive if you're younger. It's relatively small compared to the other clubs, and there's usually like drag queens and like kind of like strippers there, not like full strippers, but like kind of strippers there. Other than those 2, you're gonna have a DTF and White Buffalo, which are probably the 2 most popular clubs in downtown. You do need to be 21 to get into them. DTF is like, it's pretty similar to JJ's in that it's got like 1 big front bar and 1 big back bar. There's also like a tiny little dungeon area. It usually gets really crowded, especially on Fridays. For some reason, Fridays, DTF is always like crazy packed. Then you've got White Buffalo, which is another big popular downtown club. It's just 1 big giant square, so it's honestly probably one of the smallest but yet most open bars / clubs in Gainesville. Cover at DTF and White Buffalo can be free depending on how early you get there. A general rule of thumb for any bar in UF is the more crowded it is, the more expensive it's gonna be. I'd say it tends to be about the same. It can be anywhere between like no money to like $5 if it's like an hour into the night to like 20 or 15 if it's packed for White Buffalo or DTF. The other 2 clubs in downtown are the Lab and the Range. As far as clubs go for parties, you're probably going to want to look at Surf Club, Run Club, Water Polo Club, and Swim Club. This year, all 4 of those clubs were relatively active in like the party scene. All you're gonna wanna do is look up the Instagram of each of the clubs, go through their link trees, find the group me, and then look to see when parties are posted in the group me. You'll also sometimes see parties posted in the Snapchat. Covered Again is usually free for girls, but it can be like $5 for girls, $10 for guys. They're probably one of the best options for going out. They just don't happen very frequently. And then you're gonna have the frats. If you're a girl, you can usually get into any frat party, which other girls are probably gonna know about. You can also find those on the Snapchats. As for guys, you're probably gonna want, there's like 3 frats that allow guys if you pay. There's like TKE, SUNY, SANY. There's a few frats that you'll see posting on Instagram Snap stories. Frats will also have tailgates on game day, which are usually exclusive to brothers and girls. Although if guys pay like $20, $30, sometimes $50, they can get in. I would not recommend it.